Mandy's hit song Candy shot the 14-year-old Florida girl to instant fame.
Mandy Moore started out as nothing more than a Britney Spears clone. It's really embarrassing.
When Mandy saw herself becoming just another bubblegum Pop-Tart, she knew she had to reinvent herself.
You're a movie star.
I don't know about that.
The movie was number 3, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Adams took charge of her music career. He would always tell me, "You're not a real musician because you don't play an instrument." His controlling behavior kept her from furthering her music career during a very pivotal and potentially lucrative time.
If you're like me, then you probably love winding down at night, getting all cozy, and playing games. So why not get paid while doing it? That's why I love today's sponsor, Cash Giraffe, where you can actually earn real rewards for playing games on your phone. All you have to do is download Cash Giraffe completely free. No fees, no ads, no payment info needed. Then pick a game and start earning gems. But before you play, remember to grant permissions to track your game's progress. I found my new favorite game on Cash Giraffe called Legendale. It has everything I love in a cozy game: farming, building, and adventures. I'm already at level 11 and have earned 3,600 gems. Cash Giraffe has so many games to choose from, and the more you level up, the more gems you get. There's also always promos, boosters, and bonus events happening to earn even more. You can then cash out your gems into actual rewards like PayPal Cash and Amazon gift cards. The way I see it, I'm already playing games anyways, so might as well earn gems and treat myself to some snacks and iced coffee while doing it. So if you want to get a jump start on earning gems today, download Cash Giraffe using my link down in the description box, and you'll get up to 3,999 gems as a welcome bonus. Thank you again to Cash Giraffe for sponsoring this video. Now let's dive back into the world of Mandy Moore. It's the year 1999. TRL is blasting from TVs everywhere. Posters from Popstar magazine are plastered all over our bedroom walls. And pop music is about to change forever, as every few months a new teen blonde pop star debuts, taking the world by storm. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson. It was hit after hit after hit. And right as the new millennium was approaching, the bubblegum pop machine wanted to add one more girl to the mix. The youngest of the bunch, Mandy Moore. Now, before we dive into Mandy's pop career, we have to rewind a bit. Like, how did a 14-year-old even score a record deal?
Well, I basically got started in showbiz by the time I was about 9 or 10. I saw my first play when I was 6. Totally hooked. The girl on stage looked like she was having so much fun. And my parents kind of thought it was a phase I was going to grow out of. But by the time I was about 9 or 10, they're like, all right, you're not giving up on this.
She kept bugging me. So finally, I made some phone calls. I found a voice teacher and made an appointment. And I talked to her and I said, you know, before we really get into this, I want you to be honest with me. You know, listen to her voice and see if she's got potential. We went for the first lesson and she was like, wow, she's really got a great voice.
Mandy wasted no time. She started going to performing arts camps, performing in school musicals, doing commercials for Kmart and local Orlando theme parks. But what really led to her big break was when she became a part of the national anthem circuit for sporting events.
Oh, you see, can you see by the dawn's early light?
She must have sung the national anthem at least 100 times. One of those times, 2 songwriters just happened to be in the audience, and they loved Mandy's voice so much so they offered her their original songs to be recorded, so long as Mandy's parents paid for the studio time. Her parents quickly booked the studio, and on like day 3 or 4 of recording demos, a FedEx delivery driver overhears her, and he just so happens to be friends of a friend of an A&R guy at Epic Records owned by Sony.
And was in a studio recording my demo, and the FedEx guy heard me sing, and he had friends at record labels. He took my demo before I was even done with it and sent it off to Sony.
FedEx guy?
The FedEx guy.
her voice was just very commercial to me. I mean, you know, some artists have different talents or different things that make them special. Mandy just has a very commercial tone to her voice, and so when I heard that, that made me, you know, really interested in her.
This was all happening at the tail end of 1998. Baby One More Time, the single, had just dropped and was a smash hit. Every record label was looking to launch their very own Britney Spears. And for Epic Records, that was Mandy Moore. So she packed her bags, left school midway through her freshman year, and headed to New York City to start recording her very first album at just 14 years old.
Being in the studio was just the best part for me. I just love, you know, sitting in a room and going over how I'm gonna sing a song and then just going and knocking it out. All the songs that I've recorded, I've loved. I was very happy with everything. Candy's my first single. I can't even describe the feeling when I first heard Candy on the radio. I just thought it was really cool how you would compare a guy to Candy, because not all Candy's sweet, there's some sour in there, just like guys, you know.
Mandy's debut single, Candy, dropped in the summer of 1999, climbing its way up the charts to number 40 in the US and in the top 10 internationally. But it was the release of the Candy music video that truly changed everything. Almost overnight, Mandy was being labeled the next rising teen queen. She went from being a normal teenage girl to having the world's two largest boy bands, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, calling her up asking if she would be the opener for their massive tours.
It was very weird to get the call that NSYNC wanted me to tour with them over the summer, and it totally flipped me out. I'm with the Backstreet Boys now.
Wow.
I was with NSYNC this summer for 6 weeks. We got the call for the Backstreet Boys tour about 1 week before we were scheduled to leave and start the tour. So we were all scrambling, kind of like the NSYNC tour, to get choreography together. Touring with Backstreet and NSYNC, two of the most incredible experiences ever.
Going on tour with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys was just the beginning. If you were a kid in the late 90s to early 2000s, you probably remember seeing Mandy pretty much every time you turned on MTV. See, when she had gone on TRL to promote Candy, viewers absolutely loved her. So MTV kept bringing her on as a guest, which led to her securing a 3-year MTV contract, making Mandy one of the youngest VJs at just 15 years old.
I mean, like I was some, you know, big MTV VJ.
Welcome to the MTV family, Mandy Moore.
Well, thank you so much.
We are
you know
so
what?
stoked to have you.
I love being on MTV, you know, doing something on the streets or answering the phones and stuff like that.
Hi, Mandy.
Working with Carson is just so much fun. And Dave Holmes and Ananda and just everybody at MTV.
All of a sudden, Mandy was guest hosting TRL, doing red carpet interviews, judging karaoke, makeover shows, cover band battles, hosting Spring Break and New Year's Eve. Her ratings were so good that MTV finally just decided to give her her very own daily show called Mandy. This was all happening just as Mandy's debut album, So Real, hit shelves in December of 1999. Despite all the exposure she got from touring and with MTV, the album didn't do as well as expected. It did hit 31 on the charts and was certified platinum. However, by the time the album dropped, the market had been flooded with bubblegum pop all year long. Because Mandy was the last of the pop girls to debut, her album was heavily scrutinized and compared to Britney, Christina, and Jessica's. Reviews started rolling in saying Mandy's So Real may generate a big so what. Another one fell off the assembly line. She makes no attempts to kick new life into the well-worn formula. She's just another Britney clone.
Here you are. Look at you. Do you like being grouped with these
I don't
women?
like the picture.
You don't like the picture.
I don't like the picture, but I don't mind being.
But you don't mind being grouped with them? It's an honor.
It is. When I was signed and I was just starting to record and stuff, she was just starting to blow up. So I was just kind of doing my own thing, and then all these other people started coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're all blonde. I don't know what that's like. Unlike some of the other young ladies, you don't use sex too much in your music? You don't try to...
Well, I mean, I try and be myself, and I'm 16, and I'm not...
Right.
I don't know. That's not really something that's apparent in my life.
Because some of the other girls have been criticized for doing, being too sexy too early, right?
But, I mean, they're 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Honestly, it may not seem like a big difference, but, I mean, between 16 and 20 ...
That's a big difference, believe me.
It's a lot of maturing and growing up, especially during those years, so... There is.
No, I didn't use sex to help the show go well. till I was 30.
This is when Epic Records realized instead of fighting the constant comparisons, they could use it to their advantage by positioning Mandy as the good girl of pop, the safe alternative, the role model, especially at a time when the other pop stars were already starting to get backlash for being, quote, too sexy too soon. Now, they didn't have time for a full rebrand or album rollout, so instead, executives decided to reissue her debut album, adding a few new tracks with a more mature sound, and renaming the entire project I Wanna Be With You, after her new lead single, which also became Mandy's best-selling and highest charting single of her entire career.
What can I say? I mean, I think my new album, I Wanna Be With You, is just, it's different from something that you would usually expect from Mandy Moore. Difference is, it's a lot more mature, and I want to show people that there's more to Mandy Moore.
Now that you have your second album out, have
Yes.
the comparisons to Britney and Christina, have they stopped?
I don't think they're ever going to stop, because I think every artist is always compared to another artist, but I think they've slowed down a little bit, especially with the song, because I think it's a far cry from my first song and from kind of the songs that they have out right now, too.
Do you have a boyfriend now?
No, but I'm always looking for one. I mean, because I'm 16.
Oh, you shouldn't say that in this audience of men. There are a lot of men
But I
in
mean,
here.
I'm 16. Any 16-year-old girl is looking for a boyfriend. It's
Do you have
just
trouble
hard.
meeting the guys?
Honestly, yeah. And I know people are always like, oh, it's, you know, I'm so busy, there's no time. But there's always time for boys, you know?
But you know what? It must be.
Let's be frank.
Don't you think that they're a little intimidating to most boys of your age? You're beautiful, you're talented, you're making a lot of money, you're on the road, you're smart.
She didn't say boys her age that she
Well,
wants to go
even
out with.
2 years older than even 18-year-old boys.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Older's better, but not too old.
Mandy did find herself an older boyfriend when she met that 70s show star, Wilmer Valderrama, on the set of a teen magazine photo shoot. Apparently, Wilmer went up to Mandy, told her she looked good, they hit it off, and started secretly dating shortly thereafter. Now, if you've watched our deep dive on Wilmer, you already know that Mandy was just the beginning of a pattern. She was 16. He was 20. While that 4-year age gap might not sound massive, as the years went on, he kept getting older and the girls he dated stayed teenagers. Anyways, Wilmer was her first real boyfriend. Dating an actor and being immersed in that world seemed to give Mandy the push to dip her toes into acting. After all, she was a theater kid at heart. So she started auditioning and almost immediately she landed her breakout role as Lana the Mean Girl in The Princess Diaries, which is an iconic Disney classic that I was obsessed with as a kid.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Mandy, and I'm on the set of my new movie, The Princess Diaries.
I mean, I make fun of Mia, who's like the main character, the lead character of the story, and I snap her bra, and I make fun of her, and I call her names, and it's weird to play a character like that.
I was like, she's a singer, she's not an actor. You know, she's not an actor, she should not be doing this film. And she was good. She surprised me.
Look what we have. The perfect nerd couple, Jeremiah and Mia.
Before The Princess Diaries had even hit theaters, Mandy had already landed another role as Jamie Sullivan in A Walk to Remember. This time, she wasn't a side character. She was the star. Now, no one knew it yet, but the Nicholas Sparks movie adaptations were about to become an entire cultural phenomenon in the early 2000s. A Walk to Remember really helped spark that wave, which catapulted Mandy from a teen pop star to a legitimate Hollywood actress.
It's complete. I'm ready to go to set. I am Jamie Sullivan now, so. It was luck, I guess, because they auditioned, gosh, they were telling me hundreds of other girls and stuff like that, and I was like, why me?
I wanted Mandy in the movie because, frankly, I had heard on the radio, I Want to Be With You, and the lightness of her voice and the tone of it sounded to me like an angel.
I don't know, I mean, maybe this movie, doing this film, and having such a huge responsibility and having such a cool part is gonna really change my mind. Maybe I'll like them equally. I don't know, but right now it's definitely the singing, and I kind of figure that it's always gonna be the singing.
Right after filming Wrapped for A Walk to Remember, Mandy had to fly right back to LA, dye her hair back to blonde, to start the promotional tour for her second studio album, self-titled Mandy Moore. This album was wildly different from her first. It blended pop, R&B with Middle Eastern sounds. Also, unlike her first album, this one got great reviews. Rolling Stone called it rare and refreshing. Allmusic said it was immaculately crafted and a much stronger album compared to all of her peers. But again, despite all of Mandy's exposure from TV to the big screen, none of her singles made it onto the Billboard Hot 100. Behind the scenes, Mandy is feeling stuck and unable to grow creatively. When it came to the music on her albums, she had virtually zero creative control. Pop music wasn't even her passion, and she was tired of constantly being called a Britney clone. It was time for a major change. Mandy was going to head into 2002 an entirely different person. First, she dyed her hair brown to shed the pop girl persona. She broke things off with Wilmer, then she started promoting her movie to show the world a completely different side of herself.
You're a movie star.
I don't know about that.
The movie was number 3, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Beyond excited. Beyond.
And you know what's nice about this? You're doing this before some of the other singers are doing it. You know, you're doing the movie, so now they're following you. You know what I'm saying? You're the trendsetter.
I guess in a way. I didn't really look at it that way.
And your hair's different.
My hair's different.
Yeah.
I'm a brunette now. And you know what the weird thing is?
Tell me the weird thing.
The weird thing. I'm having so much more fun as a brunette than I ever had as a blonde.
Hey, wait,
That's weird,
really?
right? Blondes have more fun.
Mandy, explain what you mean by fun.
I feel more like myself as a brunette. I'll just put it that way. I don't know. I mean, I'm 17. How much fun can I have? Yes.
You're a single girl now.
I'm a single girl now, yes.
Yeah.
I'm 17, I'm single. I just got out of a relationship, and it's a weird time, but I'm happy, actually.
Now, just a few weeks after A Walk to Remember's premiere, Crossroads, starring Britney Spears, hit theaters. Instantly, the Britney vs. Mandy headlines started up all over again. No matter how hard Mandy tried to separate herself from that world, every success she had would be used by the media to pit her against Britney or anyone that wasn't deemed a good enough role model.
Like some other music stars, Mandy has tried her hand at acting. Unlike some others, her performances have been well received by critics.
Mandy Moore started out as nothing more than a Britney Spears clone.
When Mandy saw herself becoming just another bubblegum Pop-Tart, she knew she had to reinvent herself. In the past year, fans have seen a star transformed. Mandy went back to her naturally dark hair color at a time when many teen stars feel compelled to act like porno stars. Mandy has kept her career in high gear while managing to keep her clothes on.
By 2003, Mandy's career had exploded as she scored movie role after movie role, being recognized more as an actress over a singer. She was all over the headlines because of her high-profile relationship with tennis star Andy Roddick. And she was able to finally leave her record label after releasing her final contractual album titled Coverage.
Mandy is more than happy to talk about her new music. No longer produced by slick pop professionals, her new CD of adult rock was her idea.
So your album So Real wasn't so real, was it?
Recording the first album, So Real, I basically had no creative input whatsoever, which at the time didn't bother me at all. I was so excited to be in a recording studio.
Mandy Moore is everywhere. The press is taking aim. Since coming clean about her love affair with tennis superstar Andy Roddick, she's been besieged by the press. The picture-perfect couple kept their relationship under wraps for as long as they could.
I don't want to have some huge, big, high-profile romance in every tabloid magazine.
By early 2004, Mandy and Andy broke up. The intense spotlight took its toll on the relationship. Mandy said she was devastated and heartbroken. However, just a few months later, reports started coming out that she was dating Scrubs star Zach Braff. Some thought it was an unlikely pairing, especially since he was 29 and she was 20. But for Mandy, she said, quote, "It's nice to be with someone who's supportive of what you do and respects you and respects your work." Now, aside from Mandy guest starring in a few episodes of Scrubs as Zach's love interest, they really did try to keep their relationship out of the public eye entirely. But there was no hiding from the paparazzi in the early 2000s. After 2 years, they would officially split. Zach stating in an interview, quote, "I don't want to date super famous girls. I did that once when I dated Mandy Moore. I didn't like it. The paparazzi are outside your house and you can't ride your bike through Manhattan because people will follow you." Mandy said in an interview with People, the breakup was the icing on a really bad cake. The burned cake. I felt really low, really sad. The breakup only added to what I was going through. See, 2006 was a very, very rough year for Mandy. She had gotten a new record deal with the WB, but they weren't giving her creative control, so she had to leave, scrapping the work that she had already done with them. Then, for whatever reason, Wilmer Valderrama decided to proclaim he took Mandy's virginity on Howard Stern. Considering Mandy's reputation for being a good girl, this, of course, went absolutely viral, becoming a massive headline. And for Mandy, that felt extremely violating.
Every shit singer in the business. What, you go to a talentless convention?
First time you see Mandy Moore naked, how much time do you have to put in with a chick like that before you get to start banging her? Do you have to put in months of time?
No, well, see, we were each other's first loves, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Took an hour. She was a virgin? She was a virgin? You took her virginity?
Dude.
High five. High five Artie.
Come here. Okay.
Look at that. He goes, like to burst through that hymen is hard, right?
Look, I'll
that shitty singing talent.
Let's see, how do I put this in the most political way possible? It's just really good.
Yeah, there you go.
He goes on Howard Stern and lies to Howard and tells Howard that he took Mandy's virginity. He said about her, the sex was good, but it wasn't like warm apple pie. Now look, Mandy dated Wilmer. First of all, she's 5'9". I'm sure she has on his. He's a small man, but he seems to have that Mark Anthony presence. She then goes on Howard Stern herself and explains it and puts the kibosh on everything, right?
I dated him when I was 16 and 17. No. I love him and I still love him and he's a very good friend, and that's why I was so shocked by it, because not only was it a fib, but it was so unlike him. It was so uncharacteristic. He was like my first real true boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did not take your virginity.
He did not.
So when he comes on my show and says, I took Mandy Moore's virginity, were you beside yourself?
Yes.
The breakup, Wilmer's gross interview, and the shelved album all really sucked. But what really blew things up in Mandy's personal life was when she found out on a family vacation that her mom had been having an affair and was leaving her father for a woman.
My parents were getting divorced.
Oh,
it was
really?
really dramatic and traumatic for me. Yeah, my mom left my father for a woman, and it was completely surprising. I didn't know how to handle it other than to feel, it wasn't that my mother was leaving my father for a woman, it was that my mother was leaving my father. So that was what was so devastating, and that my mom had this affair. Could have been with anybody. So I spent a whole year kind of icing her out, which was terrible, but I didn't know what else to do.
Mandy did what many artists do when faced with a low point in life. She poured it all into songwriting, creating the 2007 album, Wild Hope. This album was Mandy's reintroduction into the world of music. She wasn't a teenager in a manufactured machine anymore. For the first time, she had full creative control, and every song let listeners take a peek into the real life of Mandy Moore.
My new record, Wild Hope, took me 2 years. I was a daydream. This is music I wrote.
We're breaking a new artist. We're not really reintroducing Mandy Moore.
It's my record!
Essentially, this record was everything to me, and also a kind of my last chance at music.
I've heard some reviews, but I sort of feel like you have to take the good with the bad, and I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I'd rather just hear the good.
Who knew that out of the late 90s teen pop princes, Mandy Moore would turn out to be the great singer-songwriter actress of the group? Not I.
You would think everything was amazing in Mandy's life. License to Wed and Because I Said So had both hit theaters. Wild Hope debuted at number 30, and she was touring from city to city performing. But in reality, Mandy was still really struggling both personally and professionally. She wasn't on good terms with her mom, dating wasn't going so well, she had a couple of brief flings with Greg Glasswell and DJ AM that fizzled out. She didn't know where she fit into the industry. Hollywood still saw her as the girl next door, the same box she'd been put in as a teenager, making it extremely difficult to escape typecasting. She also didn't know where she fit in the musical landscape anymore, as the industry had changed so much since 2002. To top it all off, Mandy was burnt out. She had been working non-stop since she was 14 years old. All of this combined created the perfect storm for the wrong person to walk right into her life. While Mandy was on the road, she would meet Ryan Adams, whose own tour happened to cross paths with hers in Minneapolis. Ryan's a musician who has like 30 albums to date, but in the industry, he is more so known as a prolific songwriter who owns a record label and recording studio called Pac Sam.
So we managed to be able to go to his show. Afterwards, we got sort of ushered into this area where they said we were going to meet the band. And Ryan's back there and he's on his laptop and he has these glasses on and crazy hair and like a flannel shirt. And I'm telling you, I was just like, this guy is the most bizarre person, but his mind, I've never met anyone like him.
Yeah.
And as a 23-year-old impressionable young woman,
that's how old you were. 23.
I was really taken by him.
Yeah.
Mandy and Ryan would start dating around December 2007. And just like past relationships, there was a pretty big age gap. Mandy was 23 and Ryan was 33. Ryan was also a more private person, so for the first 5 months, they tried to hide their relationship from the public eye. But by May of 2008, it was no longer a secret as they were spotted out together. It didn't take long for the paparazzi to start following them and circulating the photos online.
Sorry, I think that's...
What are you gonna be for Halloween?
What are you gonna be for Halloween?
Not assholes like you guys.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Paparazzi and media attention seemed to be the downfall of Mandy's relationships. Ryan especially hated the attention, so much so that he broke things off, telling OK Magazine, quote, "Mandy is one of those genuinely sweet, angelic people you wish to meet your whole life. Unfortunately, I am allergic to paparazzi. I found the entire speculation and subsequent photographs and intrusions terrifying." Now we're going to fast forward a few months to September of 2008, when DJ AM and Travis Barker survived the Blink-182 plane crash. As soon as Mandy heard the news, she flew straight to South Carolina to be by DJ AM's side as he recovered. Sparks started flying, and by October, they were back together, being spotted holding hands, going to events, and nightclubs together. What happens over the course of the next couple months is a total mystery, because all of a sudden in February 2009, paparazzi spot Mandy and Ryan together, and she was wearing a ring on that finger.
All right, I'm gonna get out of the way. Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
Very exciting, Ryan. And I know you don't talk about your personal life. I totally respect that because I would feel the exact same way. But I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very happy.
Good for you. You've earned your happiness. It's important. It's nice to find somebody who has his own thing going on, share your happiness together.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
It really is. It is. It's true.
This time around, Ryan and Mandy's relationship moved at lightning speed. Just 1 month after their engagement, they headed to a church, getting married in a last-minute ceremony.
How's the married life? Mandy, what's better, being a celebrity or being married?
2 months after the wedding, Mandy dropped the LP she had been working on titled Amanda Lee. This would mark the last album she would release for over a decade. Mandy wasn't just stepping back from music. She was disappearing from Hollywood altogether. At first, it was her choice. She really needed a break and to take time to reflect. However, she then focused all of her energy on Ryan. And as the years passed by, she lost herself entirely in an extremely codependent, toxic marriage.
I was living my life for him, being the mother.
You lose yourself.
Oh, I had no sense of self. And I was so lonely. I was so sad. No, I couldn't get traction with anything. I would do things here or there, but it became abundantly clear while I was working. Things would completely fall apart at home. I couldn't do my job because there was just a constant stream of trying to pay attention to this person who needed me and who wouldn't let me do anything else. I even had my best friend at the time was like, you will not be able to work or find any semblance of success while you're in this marriage.
It wasn't just Mandy's acting jobs that were being sabotaged. It was also her music. In an interview, Mandy said that Ryan discouraged her from working with other producers and managers, leaving him completely in charge of her music career.
I've been writing for the last couple of months, probably a year now. I've been working on a record.
And then finally getting ready to start recording it, and I'm working with my husband, so that should be fun to do a bit of a collaboration together. My partner at home has the same job in a way, so I'll sing on his record and he'll sing on my record, and it's fun to get to share those moments with one another.
Ryan told Mandy that they would work on her album together, so they would write a ton of songs and he would book the studio time. But in a total slap in the face, he would then replace her on the track with another female artist. Then he would lash out, telling her she isn't even a real musician. Mandy said it became very psychologically abusive. In a later interview, Ryan admitted that, yeah, he didn't want to work on a record because frankly, even for him, it's not a record that he would want to hear.
It was a romantic partnership Moore thought would spark even more musical creativity. But she says the opposite is what happened.
I was at a point in my life where I was the most comfortable making myself the least priority. And I made myself as small as possible in order to make somebody else comfortable. It really destroyed my relationship to music. It destroyed, now I'm gonna get emotional. It destroyed my sense of self. It destroyed my belief in who I was as a musician and as a singer.
In 2015, after 6 years of marriage, Mandy knew she had to leave. She couldn't let this be her life. The divorce got contentious pretty quickly, becoming a very public battle.
Mandy Moore's divorce from Ryan Adams is heating up, and it could get expensive. According to reports, the singer and actress is unable to reach a divorce settlement with her ex because Adams, who is apparently the breadwinner in the family, refuses to pay spousal support. Moore filed legal docs asking for Ryan to pay her $37,000 a month while they finalize their agreement. Rumor has it Ryan is only forking over money to cover half of the mortgage on the home they share and nothing else. According to her, Ryan makes $151,000 a month, and she only brings in about a quarter of that.
Mandy was on the brink of quitting acting altogether. But after leaving Ryan, she said it was like life opened back up and the sun came out again. Within 6 months, her life completely turned around when she scored the biggest role of her entire career as Rebecca Pearson in the critically acclaimed TV series, This Is Us.
I think about my life even a year ago, and it is so unbelievably different. To think now where life has sort of shifted 180 degrees is, I feel so much more present and aware and grateful for this moment in my life.
Another reason for that gratitude? Mandy has found love again. She is recently engaged to musician Taylor Goldsmith.
What does it mean to you to have found Taylor and have this guy in your life?
Oh my gosh, I feel like the luckiest girl in the whole world.
We are now at the darkest chapter of this story. In 2019, the New York Times published a major expose on Ryan Adams using his power in the music industry to find young, unknown female artists, offering to help launch their careers, only to instead pursue them sexually. Phoebe Bridgers and many other women had come forward with disturbing allegations from harassment, exploitation, manipulation, to even explicit text messages with an underage girl. Mandy was also one of the women who spoke out, sharing the details of the abuse she experienced.
Now in a bombshell story, today's New York Times alleges that Ryan Adams was in a sexting relationship with a 14-year-old girl while he was married to Mandy Moore.
According to the Times, Adams got the girl to Skype with him, and when the connection was made, Adams was already naked.
Her and Adams allegedly corresponded through over 3,000 text messages. In those texts, Adams allegedly would routinely question Ava about her age. She sometimes said that she was older than she actually was, but despite Adams' obvious concerns, he continued to push conversations. And at one point, Adams texted, "I would get in trouble if someone knew we talk like this." That was in 2014. At that time, he had just turned 40, and Ava was 16. Now, Adams had pet names for her body parts, according to the article, and later joked, "If people knew, they would say I was like R. Kelly, LOL."
The FBI opened an inquiry into Ryan, but prosecutors declined to file charges, citing insufficient evidence. However, he was basically blacklisted from the industry, dropped from his record label, his album scrapped, and upcoming tour canceled. As for Mandy, she completely moved on, marrying the love of her life, singer-songwriter and producer Taylor Goldsmith. Taylor helped Mandy repair her relationship with music, and when she was ready, they co-wrote an entire album together. Mandy's first album in over a decade, titled Silver Landings.
This record and the life experience that it took to write it and the the sort of eradicating the fear and self-doubt and all of the work I sort of had to do personally in order to find my way back to music, all of that feels like a silver landing.
Mandy Moore started off as a teen star in the late 90s bubblegum pop machine, an era that wasn't meant to last. Instead of fading into obscurity, Mandy shedded the pop girl persona, cementing her legacy as a truly talented actress. So when Mandy finally received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame after 20 years, it represented not just who she is today, but it also honored that 14-year-old girl who had to fight to find her identity in an industry that initially wrote her off as talentless.
I have such an appreciation and fondness and respect for my young self because she is what brought me here to this moment today. 20 years later, with her own star on the Walk of Fame.